Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good night, wherever it is that you're listening, whatever time it is, wherever you're from, whatever you're doing, whatever it is that you may be in your car, whatever. I'm just excited, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the inaugural episode of the Sneaker Investor Podcast with me, Iverson. I'm super excited to be on this journey, and hopefully you guys will get some benefit and some value out of what we're trying to bring here with the Sneaker Investor Podcast. I'm just elated to be able to be in the position to share information, to bring on guests to share information, to have some fun, to talk about some things that are passions of mine, and just to improve our community as a whole. This is always, I've gotten a lot of questions and requests to do a podcast over the years. And I finally decided to do it. I mean, I think it's, the podcast world obviously is a very popular world right now. And I want to add my 2 cents, I guess, to what's happening in the podcast world. And again, mainly, I want to bring value. I want to have some fun, and I want to improve my community as a result of the information that hopefully you gain from this podcast. So this is the first episode, and I want to really introduce myself and give you guys some expectations as to what the podcast is going to be all about. And why is it called the Sneaker Investor Podcast? And why do I call myself the Sneaker Investor? And I want to answer those questions up front so that as we get into the upcoming weeks and episodes, you guys will hopefully be more familiar with me, and you'll understand why I bring on the guests that I do, and the information that they're able to provide. So again, my name is Iverson. I am an attorney. I am a real estate investor. I am a CEO. I am a husband, a father, and I am an investor. And I am a sneaker lover, sneaker collector, former basketball player, and that's kind of the general idea of who I am as a person, and some of the things that I've been able to accomplish in my life thus far. But to give you a little more detail, I am from a place in Georgia called Valdosta, Georgia. It's almost in Florida, south of Atlanta. Everybody knows Atlanta, but it's a little south of Atlanta. And so that's where I'm from. I'm from Valdosta, Georgia. That's my home. That's where I was raised. That's where I went to school. It's known as Titletown. Actually, when we were growing up, ESPN did this national search of who had the best high school sports programs in the country. And it was determined that Valdosta did, and because of the state championships that we had in football and in other sports. But I was a basketball guy. I was lucky enough to be a pretty good basketball player. Played basketball in high school. We went to the state championship my senior year. From that point, I went on to play Division II college basketball in Alabama, and enjoyed that experience. Was able to get, a college education for free. I majored in business administration. And then it was what's next after basketball. What was next? What else did I want to do? And my initial idea was I wanted to stay around sports. I love basketball. I love sports in general. So I figured, hey, maybe I'll try my hand at my oldest brother had went to Georgia Tech, and he was already an attorney in Atlanta. So I figured maybe I can, stay around sports, maybe become an agent, or, maybe, work with athletes in something similar to an agent, maybe be their attorney, whatever. And so I decided to go to law school myself. And so I went to the University of Richmond in Richmond, Virginia, and I went to law school there, and I graduated thinking, hey, well, here's my chance. I'm going to be able to get involved with athletes and maybe be an agent, or maybe work with companies that represent athletes. And it just didn't work out that way. I moved back to Atlanta, and I started working with a general practice firm in Atlanta where, we worked with anything that came through the door that could pay. So whether it was divorce, it was, contract disputes, whether it was, criminal, whether it was civil, whether, anything that came through the door, we worked with those people. And what it allowed me to do, it allowed me to learn a lot. I learned a lot about, the nature of people, and I learned a lot about, different areas of the law. And I also learned that I wasn't really passionate about law. It was cool, and I saw the potential to be able to make some money, but it wasn't my firm. I was working a lot of hours, and I just didn't see the benefit of me doing that long term. That's one of the things that I discovered early on. And that's one of the things that, we'll talk about more as we go through this podcast from episode to episode. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. When I was younger, I used to tell my mom that I was going to own a sports store, like a Dick's or whatever the sports equipment store is, where they sell all the sports equipment and shoes and apparel and all that stuff. And so I always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit. My dad was always an entrepreneur, as well as a minister. And so I grew up, with that entrepreneurial spirit and with those entrepreneurial ideas around me. But in life takes you a lot of different directions. And so in my life, I went to law school. I started working at this small firm and gaining some information and knowledge. And it just so happened that as I was doing this, Atlanta was kind of becoming a musical and cultural center. This was in the early 2000s, and Atlanta was blowing up when it comes to new artists and music. It was kind of the center of not only the Southern hip hop world, but eventually will become the center of the hip hop world, even in some cases today. And I was meeting different people as I was out and about doing different things, and I met a guy who ultimately will go on to be a partner with a gentleman named Jazzy Faye, and they started a label called Show Nuff. And he also wanted to open a sneaker store in Atlanta. And so we got introduced to each other, and he started talking about his label, and he started talking about his sneaker ideas. And I was already a big sneaker guy by that time. When I was 12, 13, I got heavy into sneakers because of my basketball background. And I just love sneakers. I love Michael Jordan. I love watching him play. And, I just grew up, loving sneakers and loving the new models and loving the different designs that were coming out. My best friend worked at Foot Locker. And so we were just into sneakers. We wanted every new model, every new design, everything that we thought was hot or in style or in fashion. And I was a big hip hop head. I was into Tribe Called Quest, Pete Rock and CL Smooth and that. And when I was younger, in the late 80s, early 90s, the hip hop was coming from, New York. That was the center of the hip hop scene. So, and I'll just drop this nugget or this little piece of information about me right now, that I believe that the Air Force One is the greatest sneaker silhouette ever created. And we'll talk about that more as we go throughout the podcast. But I just wanted to interject that right now. But so getting back to meeting Kenneth at the time, but he was looking to start a sneaker store in Atlanta, and the boutique idea was still not something that was prevalent in the South. I would travel to New York and go to places like A-Life and Norton, Recon, and all those places and buy shoes, but it wasn't something that was a big idea in the South. And in Atlanta, there was, Wish, which was a big sneaker store. But, and there were some other, Walters, which is, obviously, if you've ever been to Atlanta or you know anything about Atlanta, Walters is basically an historical landmark when it comes to Atlanta in the world of sneakers and fashion. But outside of that, there was not much, when it comes to people buying sneakers and owning boutiques. And so he started a sneaker boutique in Atlanta. And at that time, throwback jerseys were big, and I knew one of the owners of one of the largest Michelin-Ness distributors in the country. He opened up his sneaker store down the street, and I was instrumental in, helping him from a legal perspective get everything open properly, and that just really fueled not only my, obviously, my already burning obsession for sneakers, but it also allowed me to meet a lot of great people in the music industry. And as a result of that, I just began to helping different artists and companies on the legal side, giving them advice, helping them with contracts, helping them structure their labels. And that ultimately kind of grew into a business. And so I started helping other artists, but at the same time, I kind of was leaning towards getting out of law, and I love sports, and I still love sports, and I wanted to be involved in sports, which was my original dream and idea from the very beginning. So I ended up becoming a basketball coach and a teacher at one of the private schools in Atlanta, and I enjoyed, teaching, and I enjoyed being around basketball. I moved on to another private school and became a head coach and assistant athletic director. Then I moved to another school and became the athletic director, and I also was a basketball coach there as well. So I did that for a number of years, staying around basketball, staying around sports, but also at the same time still helping the clients in the entertainment industry that were introduced to me as well. And so I was able to find some success, obviously, as a basketball coach. I had some successful teams, some successful players. I was able to learn a lot about athletic administration. I was also able to I was learning a lot about entrepreneurship, learning how to build a business, learning how to operate a business, learning, the different things that would allow you to avoid some pitfalls by going through those failures. I failed a lot. I had a lot of failures. I even tried to open a sneaker store called Blacktop. You see that behind me. But that, didn't go as successfully as I wish it would have. It was a failure, but I learned a lot. I've learned a lot from the things that I've tried as an entrepreneur and the things that I failed from as an entrepreneur. And so, a few years ago, about almost 3 years ago now, I got into real estate investing, wholesaling, doing, some fix and flips, and, creative financing, and, just really getting involved in learning the ins and outs of real estate investing. And over these last 2.5 years, me and my partner, we've been able to build a successful real estate investment company called Blacktop Homebuyers, keeping the Blacktop moniker, as you see behind me. And one of the things that, as I love listening to podcasts and, getting I'm an information junkie. I love getting information from people who've had successes, learning what they've done to become successful, what they failed at, and what they've learned from those failures. And because I've been blessed to have some experience myself in different areas of entrepreneurship, I wanted to kind of bring my 2 cents to this world of podcasting, and to be able to provide more information for my community, not only about investing, but also get to talk about some things that I love, like sneakers. I love sneakers and I love music. And so I wanted to be able to have a platform where I can share all of these things at once and continue to provide valuable information to my community. As an African American, as a Black man, I want to be able to leave a legacy of improving our community, giving our community the information that they need to be successful, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, because I believe that the only way to gain the type of freedom that we're looking for as a community in this country is through financial freedom. And in this capitalistic country that we live in, ownership is what really allows you to get to being financially free as quickly as possible. Now, you can work, you can have a very, very, high paying job, or just a high paying job, manage your money correctly, make some great investments, and become financially free. But ownership allows us to provide other opportunities for our community, where we can hire other people. We can go out in our community and speak about, yes, these are things that we own and operate and control, and we don't have to give away these opportunities to other people that don't look like us, but come into our community and take advantage of our dollar. And so I want to leave that kind of legacy with this podcast. And so not only is that a big part of why I'm doing this, but again, I want to talk about things that I'm passionate about. And as I get older, I want to do things and talk about things and be around people and that I enjoy. And so I love sneakers, and I know sneakers are a big deal right now. And I've been collecting sneakers for well over 25 years. And I've been able to, and it's just because I love sneakers. It wasn't really a culture when I started buying sneakers. It really wasn't the phenomenon that it is today. Not even close. It was just, I like the look and style and feel and of sneakers, and I like the history and the story behind some of the shoes that were dropping, and I just fell in love with the designs, and again, it's something that has stuck with me to this day. And so I want to talk about that. I want to talk to people in the industry, talk to people about their love for sneakers. And you may be asking, well, why do you call yourself the Sneaker Investor? And why is this called the Sneaker Investor Podcast? Well, that moniker was kind of given to me, by some friends of mine who were like, look, you're an investor, you invest in real estate and these different things, and you love sneakers. You're just, you're kind of like a sneaker investor, and it just kind of stuck. It may sound kind of corny, but it just kind of stuck, and I liked it. And with the name, I get to combine two things that I'm really passionate about. I think real estate, investing and ownership is one of the fundamental keys to being able to build financial freedom. And again, I love sneakers. So how this podcast is going to be different from maybe some other things that you listen to. There are a lot of podcasts out there about investing, and whether it's real estate or stocks or whatever it is. And there are a lot of, podcasts now about, the sneaker culture and shoes and what to buy, what you like, what you don't like, so forth and so on. The difference, I guess, between what's out there now and what I'm going to do, what makes it unique in my opinion, is that I'm going to bring on entrepreneurs from all different types of industries. Whether we're talking about finance, whether we're talking about real estate, whether we're talking about entertainment, whether that's music or movies, whether we're talking about retail, food industry, whatever it is. I'm going to bring on this podcast guests that are successful entrepreneurs from all of these industries. Most of them, my goal is to have 95% or more of them be people that be black people. And what we're going to talk about is, their entrepreneurial journey. What are some of the things that they've, done to become successful? What are some of the things that they have accomplished, and what are some of the tips and tricks that they can provide to other people that they believe have helped them become successful entrepreneurs in their field? And I want them to provide, real actionable things that you as listeners can take with you and learn and continue to research and study if you want to be involved in whatever field it is that they're in. But I want them to really talk about the realities of being an entrepreneur, and what are some of the hardships that they face, and what are some of the benefits that they've received as a result, whether it's financial or otherwise, and what makes them successful, what has made them successful in that industry. And we're going to talk about all of those things. But the people that I bring on, and what I think is going to make this unique, are also people that love sneakers. These are successful entrepreneurs that also have a passion for sneakers. So whether they're in retail, or whether they're in, stocks, or whether they're in, other avenues of the financial industry, or whether they're in real estate, these are also people that I know that have a love for sneakers. And so we're going to spend time talking about sneakers and what got them into sneakers, and how they developed their passion for sneakers, and what are some of their favorite models, and what do they think about the sneaker industry now. And so we'll get to combine those two things in our conversations. You'll get to learn about whatever industry they're in, and some of the things that have made them successful in that industry. You'll get to learn what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And if you have an inclination, or you're striving maybe to be an entrepreneur, you'll get to hear tips and tricks and different things that very successful people in their industry can provide to you to maybe help push you to the next level. But you'll also get to hear about sneakers, and you'll get to learn, about what some of their favorite models are, and what some of their favorite stories are surrounding sneakers, and some of the things that they're wearing, and what they think about the industry as a whole. So I'm excited because I really get to talk to people that maybe idols of mine, and people that I look up to because of their success. Even if they're younger than me, I look up to them because of some of the things that they've been able to achieve. And we get to just, have a real conversation about entrepreneurship. And we get to pass on the things that we've learned and the knowledge that we've gained to you as listeners. And hopefully, you guys can take some action, implement it into whatever you're trying to do, and find some success. And you get to have some fun with us as we talk about sneakers and the brands and what they love, and all of the things surrounding sneakers that I'm passionate about and that they're passionate about as well. So that's why it's called the Sneaker Investor Podcast. And that's why I'm really excited about bringing this to you guys. And this is the first episode. I really wanted to use this to introduce myself, to kind of give you guys a little bit of background about who I am, and about some of the things that I've been blessed to accomplish. And again, this is about me providing value to you guys. I want this to be, a collaborative effort between me and you as listeners, and our guests as well. I want you guys to let me know if there's somebody that you like to see on the podcast that I may not be thinking of, that you think fits within the model of what we're trying to do. And let me know, if you like it, things that we can do better, or things that you think we can improve on. I want you guys. I want to build a community out of the Sneaker Investor Podcast, because I want you not only to get information from the podcast, but I want you to have some fun with us as well. And I wanted to, again, take this first episode to introduce myself and just briefly talk about, what I do as an investor, and give you guys a kind of a brief introduction into what are some of my, favorite sneakers and models, and what I think about the sneaker industry now. We'll have much more detailed conversations in the episodes to come. But really, what I believe about real estate investing is that, again, I mentioned it before, but I believe that real estate, because of it appreciating in value, people will always need somewhere to live, and people will always need a roof over their heads. People will always go out to restaurants, and people will always shop, and even with the pandemic and things that have happened, there's been more and more online shopping. But people will always want to go to stores and have that in-person experience. And so all of that involves real estate. Everything that we do on a daily basis, on a daily basis involves real estate. And even more importantly now is people's homes. People have been stuck at home for almost a year now. And so they are valuing the place where they live even more now, because they've been forced to spend so much time there. And so real estate will always appreciate in value, and the market has been extremely hot for the past year and a half, maybe 2 years. And when you have an asset that continues to appreciate, obviously it's something that you want to have ownership in. And there's a lot of ways to make money when it comes to being involved in real estate. One of the things that I'm sure you guys have heard of, or maybe if you're not, we can introduce it to you, is the concept of wholesaling real estate. And really, wholesaling real estate is kind of playing the middleman, where you reach out to people that may be in distressed situations, people that may be behind on their taxes, may be in pre-foreclosure, maybe have inherited a property that they don't want, maybe are tired of being a landlord and dealing with tenants. There's a lot of different stressors in people's life, right, when it comes to property. So you reach out to these people, whether it's through phone call, text message, radio ads, TV ads. I mean, I'm sure you guys may have seen or heard some of these things before. Billboards, whatever it is. You market and advertise to these people, and you ask them if they're interested in an offer for their property. A lot of these properties need work. A lot of them are in distress from when it comes to condition as well. And so a lot of people are willing to sell the property to you at a discount because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to make the improvements. They may not have the experience, they may not have the money, and they may not be that interested in doing it. So they rather sell you the property, make some profit without having to do the work, and then just move on with their lives. And so you reach out to these people. Hopefully you're able to reach an agreement at a discount because you or your partners that you work with are going to be willing to do the work. You get that property under contract, and then you assign the rights of that contract to another investor that you may be working with. And that investor may, buy it from you at what's still a discount and, use it as a rental property, put the work into it when it comes to the rehab, and they move on and make their profits on the back end, or it becomes a cash flowing asset for them over the years. But you've made your money. Okay, you controlled the rights to the contract, and you were able to assign the rights of that contract to someone else who then went on to do, profit from it whatever way they found best for them. So that's wholesaling. And we'll get into that more. I'm going to have people on the show that really get into detail about wholesaling and about, how they have become very successful and wealthy. And my company has been fortunate enough to find some success in the wholesaling space as well. And then with real estate, one of the things that real estate provides is a way for you to earn consistent passive income. Okay, passive income is income that you make, while you sleep, or it's mailbox money, as they say, and so rental properties are a way for you to earn what's called passive income. And so if you have a property that you are able to obtain, and you're able to have someone else rent it from you, and let's say you get a loan for the property, they're able to pay the loan plus extra, then that extra money that you make is income for you. And let's say you have 10, 20, 30, 40 of those properties that you own that someone else is paying the mortgage for, or even better, you own them outright and you don't have any debt or a mortgage tied to them. That money that's coming to you every month is income for you. And it's income that's coming to you because you're providing a roof over someone's head. You're providing a service. There's tax benefits for you because you're providing a home or a place for someone else to live. And the government understands that, they need the citizens to be able to provide places for other citizens to live. And so they provide you with tax benefits as a result. And we'll bring on people that can talk to you more in detail about what those tax benefits can and will be. And then there's the part of real estate investment where you become the fix and flipper yourself. You're the person from HGTV that buys the house that needs all this work, that's in distress, and you put a new kitchen in, you improve the bathrooms and flooring and paint, and you bought it at a discount. You've run your numbers. You understand what the rehab costs are going to be, and you know what you can sell it for on the back end. So you buy this property. Let's say you buy it for $100. You put $40,000 worth of rehab work in it, so you're in it for $140,000, and you're able to sell it on the retail market to someone who wants to live in the property for $200,000. Now, you may say, well, you're going to make $60,000. Well, there's some other costs associated with that, which we'll talk more about with some of our future guests. But you end up making a pretty good profit as a result of you being willing and able and having the relationships to put the work in and rehab it and put it back on the traditional market and provide that property for someone to live in. So there's a lot of ways to make money in real estate. And there's a lot of ways to get involved in real estate that doesn't require a large financial commitment. That's another myth. Some people may say, well, I love real estate. I really want to get involved in real estate. I've heard a lot about real estate investing, but I don't have 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 to get involved. We'll talk about ways where you can get involved in real estate investing without a large investment of capital. Okay, you have to put in some sweat equity, some time, and you'll be able to make some money in real estate and begin to build a business. Now, I've been able to build a successful consulting business as well as, a successful real estate investment business. And most of the consulting that I do is still in the entertainment space. Still in the space of, dealing with contracts, helping organizations structure their labels or their management companies or whatever it is the right way, and helping them navigate through some of the issues that may come with being in the entertainment industry. And so I've been doing that now for about 14, 15 years. And again, just blessed to have some success and to meet the right people. And we'll have some of those people on who will be able to talk to you more about what they do in the entertainment industry, how they got involved. And, if that's something that you're interested in, how you yourself can get involved in what they're doing, and they'll give you some real behind the scenes information to help you know what some of the steps are that you really need to take. This is not going to be a bunch of fluff and a bunch of us talking about what cars we drive or how big our homes are or any of that. We're going to try to provide you guys with real information when it comes to entrepreneurship that you can use, and you can learn from us, learn from our mistakes, so you don't have to make those same mistakes on your entrepreneurial journey. And obviously the fun part is we get to talk about sneakers, and I love sneakers. And as you see behind me, every week this will change up, and hopefully we'll get some sponsorship and I can do something different. Brother don't want to have to spend money out of his pocket, but hey, we'll see how it goes. But I've amassed, a pretty decent collection, maybe about 1,000 sneakers. And, it's just a passion. I don't think I'll ever stop buying sneakers or wearing sneakers. It's just something that I love. It's, sneakers have kind of become like art as well. In a lot of ways, some sneakers, not they're all sneakers, but some sneakers can appreciate in value. You see that with the resale markets that have been created, your StockX and your GOAT and even eBay, where, people are able to take a sneaker that has increased in value and sell it and make a lot of money. Some people have built very successful businesses out of the reselling of sneakers, and we'll talk to some of those people and bring them on as guests to talk about their entrepreneurial journey in sneakers. And so, I told you guys before that my favorite model is the Nike Air Force One. I think it's the greatest sneaker that, ever has been created by any brand. The simple silhouette, the different colors and collaborations that have been done over the years. I don't think it gets any better than that. Now, when it comes to Jordans, the Jordan 3 is my favorite Jordan. That's the Jordan that really set it off for me. I know a lot of people talk about the ones, and look, I was, in 86, I was 10 years old. Okay, and so I grew up with Michael Jordan. I grew up as a kid cheering Michael Jordan, and I grew up in that era where I got to watch him play and got to see all the commercials and all of that. I'm a child of that time period. And so I did like the one. I remember getting a pair of Jordan 1s from J.C. Penney's. My mom got them on sale, the Chicago colorway, for like $30. And so I liked the one. The 2 was a little different, something that people had never seen before. I really liked the 2. Even to this day, I think it's a dope silhouette. It was kind of seen as a luxurious shoe. They wanted to have this Italian leather theme and all that. But the 3, when the 3 came out with the elephant print, and he was in the dunk contest and the commercials, that was the Jordan that really did it for me. And so my favorite Jordan silhouette of all time is the 3. I love the Air Max 1. That's another one of my favorite silhouettes. The Air Max 90. I'm really, one of those old school sneaker people. Obviously, I'm a Nike head. I think Nike has done the best job when it comes to obviously marketing, design, things of that nature. But I do like some Adidas. I think the Shell Toe is a classic shoe. Stan Smith. I love New Balance. The 997, I think they've done a great job with the 327, which is a new model for this year. New Balance is comfort, but it's also a very stylish shoe. And I love the fact that they're collaborating more than they have in the past. It used to be the blue and gray, and that was it. But now they're doing a lot more with, different designers and different fashion houses, and they're just doing a great job of really bringing that brand to the forefront. So I'm excited about what New Balance has happening right now. But that's I love sneakers, and I could talk about sneakers all day, but this is the introductory episode, so I don't want to take too much of you guys' time. I wanted to introduce myself. I wanted to give you guys some insight into what you can expect from the podcast, and also one of the things that is important to me on this podcast is I want to support brands that are owned by African American clothing brands, whatever it may be. Obviously we're new, we don't really have any sponsors, but I want to make sure that I'm highlighting people, black people from our community that are doing things, whether from a fashion perspective, whether you have any other type of product, reach out to me, because I want to put you guys in the forefront. Again, this isn't about me, this is about me providing value, about entrepreneurship, about different industries that may interest you, and having some fun talking about sneakers. So today, you see I have the Support Black Colleges hoodie on. This is the orange one. If you guys are just listening on Apple or Spotify, Pandora, wherever you listen to your podcast, the brand is called Support Black Colleges. You can Google them. They do a really dope job. I really like this hoodie. But if you're watching, on YouTube, you can actually see the hoodie for yourself. But yeah, look for them, support them. They have some dope product on their webpage, and we'll put a link to their webpage in the notes for the podcast and on YouTube, where you can look that up and go check them out. But I want to do that every week. I want to support brands from our community and people from our community that have created fashion brands, and give them a shout out, give them some light. My platform, I just want to use it to grow and build community and give out information and have some fun talking about sneakers. So again, we're going to have some excellent guests. This is, the podcast is going to release every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you go to for your podcast, it will be available. It's the Sneaker Investor Podcast. Please go to my YouTube page, The Sneaker Investor. The actual video of the podcast, you can see kind of where I'm sitting, kind of some of the sneakers that'll be behind me on a weekly basis. You'll see that as well. But please like that, subscribe, go check me out, and listen to the podcast. Again, this is for our community. This is something that I'm doing to try to bring some value from our community. We're gonna have guests, like I said, from every entrepreneurial avenue that you can think of, every industry that you can imagine. I'm going to have a guest, and an African American or black guest that has had success, a lot of success in that industry. And we're going to be sharing their successes, their failures, tips and tricks, and everything about their entrepreneurial journey. But this is also somebody who I know loves sneakers. And you're going to get to hear about that part of their life as well, and what they think about what's happening with sneakers and their favorite models and all those things that I discussed earlier. So thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you guys for taking this journey with me. Again, this is the first episode. Every Monday, be looking out for the Sneaker Investor Podcast. You can follow me at the Sneaker RE Investor on Instagram. That's at the Sneaker RE Investor. It's Iverson on Facebook. And please, guys, follow me, look me up, send me your comments, send me what you like, what you don't like, what I can improve. But I'm looking forward. Next week, we're gonna have a great guest on. Be looking on my Instagram and Facebook for more information about who our guest will be next week. But great guest who has had a great entrepreneurial life, and so I'm excited to have him on and to discuss some of these things with him. So thank you guys again for being here, for joining me on this journey. Be looking out again every Monday, the Sneaker Investor Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I appreciate you taking your time to be with your boy, the Sneaker Investor. And again, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you, the internets, for checking me out. I'll see you guys next week. I'm Ivan Investor, the sneaker investor, and I'm out. Peace.